This message that I have to share to you is very dear to my heart. I'm touching bases on relationships, love, family, understanding, and all the fundamental principles that everybody needs to grow. This message in particular is for single mothers and men who don't have any children or maybe thinking about becoming stepfathers. Now, I have heard a lot of bitter messages from men playing that stepfather role. How they were being cheated on, the women were still connected to the baby fathers, and all sorts of nonsense that could easily break a man. And this turns guys to become monsters against women. Not such as mutilation or anything sexual, but as far as ignoring their needs. Men need help just like women do. And we shouldn't divide any of our plans. We should come together. Sometimes things are needed to be done alone, while others we probably need help. God did not make man for man to be alone. Matter of fact, it's not even good for man to be alone. And men who understand these things know that when you are alone, what comes when loneliness hits? Depression, anxiety, stress, and all sorts of activity that can be led to things that God forbids for us to do. I had this message prepared last year. I woke up with it on my heart because I was really thinking about the women who are struggling. I wouldn't want to call this a generational curse. A lot of people have their own terms and own ways of saying things, but if a mom is single, raising her son or daughter, is it like maybe 70 to 80% chance that her mother was the same way? That there was no man around? And then her mother, so forth and so forth? I see it all the time. And it kind of hurts to know that who's gonna take care of these young boys? Who's gonna teach these young boys to become men? Or who's gonna help these daughters know about manhood so that they won't be deceived as they get older? I have written about 2 or 3 pages to share with you. The things that I'm going to say, I hope it doesn't cause any controversy. I hope you don't feel condemned or I'm criticizing you. I'm against all those things. I don't do that stuff. Matter of fact, in 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verses 1, it says that even though knowledge makes us feel important, it's love that builds. And another thing, although the truth can hurt, it is not to make you feel less of a person. It is not to downgrade you. It is not to humiliate you, but it's to really strengthen you. It's to encourage you and make you feel comfortable. The truth always edifies. Sometimes it does feel like someone is attacking you. It's maybe not the way they say it, but it's how they say it. To really best to give you this message in a humble manner so that you don't take this the wrong way. I hope you all have a great day. And I hope that this encouraged somebody. The 2 essential matters that I will be discussing here today is, number 1, why some men don't date single mothers. Number 2, what a woman must do to the man she has or will have. I'm quite sure if you're listening to this, you may want to reconsider the fact that this isn't just from my own experience, but from a global scale of men alone. But first, women have the duty to acknowledge the role of men by understanding their manhood. Most men feel like a lone wolf, a black sheep, an outcast, a deserted item that represents loneliness because deep inside, they're not being fed these 2 things, respect and praise. Behind every single mother, there is a story, and behind that cover, the pages could be filled with bitterness towards men. Retribution and unsatisfaction due to a previous meaning relationship which eventually leaves them humble and sad. Men see this as an opportunity to start fresh and take the role of a father. Becoming a stepfather is a blessing for many, but why others don't see it that way? It's because of these 2 various reasons. Number 1, baby daddy drama. It's nothing like a man having his own and relying on his own independence and wisdom, maybe seeking a single woman that can create a successful relationship that'll eventually lead him to having his own family. The troubles of joining in, he may feel as if he's a third wheel, because in his mental chart of evaluating the relationship, he will assume that the baby daddy will come back and possibly have to face harsh threats. Number 2, attention. That he isn't treated with the love he seeks from her because she used that energy on the first man, and she has no time to be betrayed by the next. And besides, the child may be worth more of the mother's attention than the man, causing him to feel left out. And when men are needed, we feel useless. And in the same order, it'll lead him to be with someone who values his time, and he won't feel as if he's in the third wheel. Do you see how valuable it is to study your partner? Notice the changes, addressing minor issues before it escalates into a mountain of problems, and seek quality time together. Attention is more precious to a man than silver and gold. And if you focus on social media, family, and friends, it creates a system of insecurity within him because you aren't showing any interest. If the woman becomes discouraged and the man is distracted, or vice versa, then that's when the relationship will crumble. Once you acknowledge your role as a woman, and this isn't coming from a position of pride, but at a state of sincere and awareness, and once you accept the responsibility which caused you to be a girlfriend or spouse, he needs to be studied, respected, and valued. Let's look into that deeper. Studied. Although the man is not a science project, women are more powerful when she uses her authority to motivate him, and in return, she's held in such an honor. This eliminates suspicious behavior and keeps him on the path of maturity. Respected. By nature, we're hunters, providers, and protectors. But we can easily lose interest if we are not at the center of attention. Yes, this may sound selfish. It's because it is. We're selfish individuals, but not in a sinful manner. We're selfish because we want it all, and we want the best, and we want to have the best. And we choose that because we want to be satisfied. And once a woman shows commitment and inspires him to achieve that purpose, you will be the queen, and he will appreciate you for an eternity. Valued. Men are prideful creatures who are drawn to words of affirmation. In other words, we love to be praised. This is not a satanic thing, so remove the religious mindset and see this as the nature of manhood. Men are created in the image of God and his likeness, right? So if God loves praises and he's drawn to it, don't you see that men are in the same way like God, but made a little lower to a certain degree? God protects, so do men. God works, so do men. God fights, so do men. Now I can go on and on, but eventually you see the point. If you want your man to be happy, know what triggers him and avoid it. Show that he's honored above all. Of course, he's not God. This will cause him to be attached to you, and if a woman comes, he'll immediately put that to an end before it reaches phase 2. Don't tell God you're ready to be involved if you're not ready to do these 3 things, which is to study him, be willing to respect him, and value him. These are the keys to keeping a man happy, secured, and close to you. It is in every man's DNA to love. We were born doing that since we came out the womb, because our first love was our mother. So we kind of understand how womanhood works, but not to the full extent, because although we are not a woman, we are a man, and we can only see it from the outside and not in. Men have such a responsibility, and that is to love you. By loving you, it's not just with words or feelings, but it's the actions. We have to put you before our parents, before our friends, before our co-workers. Woman becomes first in our life, though God is number 1. And I understand that you may have seen guys that has been treating women wrong, probably treat you wrong, probably did things that he was not supposed to do. Though you may put your eggs all in one basket and now they're all crushed because of his actions. A godly man knows exactly what to do. And first, it's balance. We need balance. We need structure. We need to listen. Listening to a woman's heart and not assuming things is what actually helps us to love and grow with you more. When we put our own ways aside and set aside the differences and really come and just listen to you. Maybe that is what you really need. Assumptions can kill, but what can heal is giving an ear to that person. Ever since the curse that has fallen upon the woman, the man, and their relationship, when you just look at that and study it, the curse in the relationship, the woman will desire for her husband, but he will rule over her. Desire for the husband, that means that she would try to have authority and try to have it over him. She would try to be like the man in the relationship, but he will rule over her. Meaning he can be controlling. He can be dominating. He can have that toxic masculinity. And these are curses in a relationship. But God has restored us. And so now we have order. And through his prophets and through his apostles and through the writings of the scriptures, we now know the duties that we are called to fulfill. For husbands to love their wives, and for wives to submit to their husbands. If you say, well, I did all of this and got nothing in return from him, then my reply to you is, well, although you did the right thing, it was towards the wrong person.